Hey guys, how's everybody doing? It is December 20th, 2023. We're coming up on Christmas, we're coming up on the new year, and I'm going to talk to you about my future plans with my model train hobby. So, as you may have seen from yesterday, I uploaded a video of some big steamers I'm selling, plus my friend's big steamers he sent here for weathering and for a tune-up, and those are getting sold as well. And I'm also going to be selling a very big portion of my personal collection, not just big steamers, but other stuff as well. So I started collecting trains about 15 years ago, and over the course of those 15 years, I haven't had much time to devote to the hobby other than setting up track in my living room back when I was doing that and running some trains around and talking about the history. And then I finally got this garage done and repainted and got all the trains in here. Well, most of them. I have trains in another room too. And it's been about 2 years since I've done that, and I still haven't started on my layout. So what I've realized is that I just have too much stuff, and my garage is not the size of like a basement that would be underneath an entire house. We don't have basements here, so my train space is much more limited than I originally thought it would be 15 years ago. So what I've done is I've revised my layout idea to fit into here. It's a much smaller idea, yet it's still going to be very nice and very detailed. And I'm going to be clearing out more than half of this train collection so that I could actually have space to build a layout and keep everything contained in this garage rather than spread out through the house. So what I'm going to do is share with you the layout idea, and then after that I'm going to talk to you about some of the stuff that's for sale. It's going to surprise you, some of the stuff I'm selling, as maybe those big steamers surprised you yesterday, but I am going to be parting with some nice stuff, so it's an opportunity for you guys to get some of this so-called rare stuff. I know rare is a term that's tossed around. You know, everything is rare now. If you look on eBay, almost every listing says rare on it. I do have some hard-to-find items, and then I have some popular items too. And I'll be parting with a bit of each, the hard-to-find and, you know, some of the more common stuff. So we'll get to that in a bit. Right now what I'm going to do is I'll show you some trains that are going to be a part of the layout idea. So you may have heard of the term less is more, and that's the approach that I'm taking as I start to show you what this layout is going to be based on. So I'm not going to be basing the layout on Long Island and New York City. So there will be one very small harbor scene in the layout that could potentially look like New York City, and that'll be more represented by the trains that I use on it more than anything else. So, but I am going to be keeping some New York City stuff that I grew up seeing, and then a couple of my favorite pieces from the past eras of New York City. So, starting with the past era, we have this set of MU cars. I have the 4-pack here, and Matt Train Lover 9943 did some custom sound sets for me for this set. So we're going to run this around probably in the next video. I'll let you hear it. It has Whitestone Branch sound sets with my voice, and it's a really, really cool set. So thanks, Matt, for doing this for me. This one's definitely staying. Next, we have some subway sets. I'm going to start with this one here. This is the R12 number 1 train. This is the first weathering project I've ever done, and I still have it, and I'm going to keep this one for forever, basically. And this is the number 1 local train running down 7th Avenue and Broadway in Manhattan, and I really love how this came out. And also to go along with that will be the number 2 R26 train, and this also has a custom sound set in it from Matt Train Lover 9943. It's not my voice, but I wanted different stops than what the train set came with, so Matt helped me out, and I'll let you hear the sound set in this. It has a lot of Bronx stops and a couple of Manhattan stops and only like 1 or 2 Brooklyn stops, so I really wanted a Bronx-based number 2 train, and it's really cool, so we'll get to listen to that. This one stays in the collection. MTA era Long Island. I might thin this out a little bit, but this is my favorite Long Island Railroad MTA era diesel. I grew up seeing these MP15s on push-pull passenger trains. This has the Oyster Bay announcements, courtesy of Bright and Zach. I have two of these, so I might do Port Jeff announcements on the other one. But this definitely stays along with the matching passenger cars and some freight. Last piece, Amtrak Phase 3. I grew up with Amtrak Phase 3. I rode it a lot going upstate New York and into Vermont. And we're going to take a look at some Amtrak Phase 3. I have a F40PH, an AEM7, this materials handling boxcar, and also passenger cars, of course. So we'll take a look at that. And I'm also going to be keeping the Acela. I remember when the Acela came out, I was just really impressed with them. So that'll be the Amtrak stuff that stays. So the rest of the Long Island stuff, I'm going to be letting go of most of it. And the subways as well. So I'm going to keep the Slant 40s and possibly the DAP R32 set that I have. But I'm going to be letting go of all of my World's Fair R36 cars. I'm not going to build the Flushing line, so I really don't see the need to keep them. And they're really sought after, so even though they're popular, people still scramble to get those sets. It means those cars are very, very collectible. And since I'm not really going to be concentrating on the Flushing line, those cars will become available, along with a lot of other Long Island Railroad stuff that's not from my era, like the Dashing Dan and the World's Fair era stuff. I'm going to part with all of that because it just doesn't fit the layout theme. So now let's get into the layout theme. So I just showed you part one of 3 parts of my layout theme. And of course, every model train layout has childhood memories on it. That's one of the whole reasons why we build these things. And just brings back all those good memories of growing up and riding the trains. So part 2 is going to be my favorite railroad industrial designer, Raymond Lowy. And so we have 2 of his 3 nicest passenger schemes, in my opinion. So the Mopac Eagle, which is based on the western deserts of Texas. We got the blue sky in contrast with the desert sand. And then we have the 2-tone Fleet of Modernism paint scheme, which is awesome. It's just freight car brown and Pensy Tuscan red with the pinstripe accents. A very, very simple paint scheme that looks so elegant and looks very complex with all that pinstriping, but really the concept is very simple. And it's one of my favorite, it's probably my favorite railroad paint scheme. I love the Fleet of Modernism. And then we come to the Slant 40s, which Raymond Lowy was hired to give the New York subways a more futuristic look in the late 60s, and he came up with the R40 subway car with the 10-degree slant. So a couple other notable Raymond Lowy pieces that are not here but are going to stay are the Pennsylvania Railroad S1 and the Pensy Sharks. So the Sharks actually bring me into this final portion of my layout theme, which is actually what the scenery will be based on. I'm going to build over here in this section a gigantic iron ore / coal dock, and there'll be a harbor scene here too, and it'll be really cool to see the Duluth-Mesabi and Iron Range Railroad with its ore cars loading up the ore boat. And then also what I want to be able to do is flip the trestle around to make it look more like an East Coast ore or coal dock. So if I want to run the Pensy stuff. So, and then it's going to be a wintertime World War II theme. So we're going to have troop trains, and we're also going to have some other steam engines from the World War II era on there. And the World War II era Super Chief is going to stay as well. So it's going to be really cool to see all of that. And that's what this side of the layout's going to be. It's going to be basically a gigantic ore trestle on the upper level, which will wrap around this way and then go on a downgrade to meet the main level of the layout over here, which will be like a wintertime country town with a Christmas village and all that stuff. And then I want to do a underneath the table subway level, which will be probably just 2 tracks where I could display the New York subway sets that I'm going to hold on to. So that is the basic layout idea, and I'm looking to start this probably second or third quarter of the year, probably more so the third quarter. Second quarter is usually pretty busy with work. So how I came up with this layout idea is I basically just thought about what I like to run the most. And it's the Raymond Lowy stuff, it's some of my childhood stuff, and it's the World War II stuff. So why not just put that together into a theme, and why do I need the rest of it? So my original layout idea was to build a replica of Penn Station in a basement and then have New York City surrounding it and then go out into the country. And so that's why I started collecting this gigantic collection. And I can't fit that in this garage, and I'm just not going to do that. It's not going to happen. So I completely revamped the idea, and now I'm downsizing the collection to match the idea. So it'll all fit in here, it'll be nice, it'll be relaxing, and that's really what I'm going for. And I'll have a little bit of everything from the turn of the century, from the turn of the century all the way up to the modern era. So now that brings me to the stuff that's for sale, and there's going to be quite a bit of it. So if you're interested in purchasing anything, I'm going to be listing in the Old Gauge Railroading Forum in the coming days. Also, I'm going to be putting a bunch of stuff on eBay. If it does not have a bid on eBay, please feel free to contact me to purchase it direct. I inflate 15% on eBay. Actually, I need to inflate 20% to cover taxes as well. eBay seller fees are ridiculous, and I'm not willing to pay that, so I put it into the cost of the model. So if I'm going to sell something for $100 direct, then it's going to be $115 plus shipping, actually $120 to $125 plus shipping on eBay. So and then you have to pay taxes on top of that. So it's ridiculous. You're throwing money away by buying trains on eBay. So you have my contact information. I always put my email in the description of these videos. I'm on Discord. I'm on the Old Gauge Railroading Forum. Lastly, if you happen to purchase something from me and something's not right when you get it, contact me. If you buy through eBay, please don't leave me bad feedback and say all kinds of nasty things about me. There's some eBay buyers that love to do that, so just please don't do that. Contact me, I will make it right. I have shipped stuff out that unknowingly had an issue. I always take it back, I always fix it. If I can't fix it, I'll refund you. Okay, and that's how it's gonna work. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll be talking to all of you soon. Bye-bye.